that's crazy talk. And I'm like, it's not really crazy talk because that's where the future is going. I mean, think of how many lives would be saved if the soldiers fighting were machines being controlled by people in a remote location. If entire wars were fought like that without actually technically a human life lost. That's why this technology is also sort of important as we move forward. But there is that side, but there's also the side of being granted a new body or a consciousness living on through a machine. And the fusion of biology and technology and the soul and a myriad of other variables, but that is the goal. Transferring a conscious mind into a machine, what a godless form of research, I can imagine some saying. And I'm like, no, we've established, if we go back to my previous videos, we see that I admit that I do believe in a creator and all of that. Let's not get into that right now. But think of the benefits of something like that. When suddenly exploring space and all of its hazards and things it's less hazardous to a robust machine than it is to human skin and human flesh. So when it comes to exploring the cosmos or leaving Earth and colonizing other planets, that sort of technology is going to be essential in doing that. It's like, just be grateful for what you have. Don't think about that stuff, exploring the universe and things. It's so big, we're never going to do it. And I'm like, no, that's the thing. We are on planet Earth, and any decent astrophysicist will tell you that planet Earth is doomed, it's destined to be destroyed. Like, it's going to be destroyed, whether it's 1 million years or 10 million years, or however long it takes. That the life here that's on Earth is on a timer. Like, the time is running out. Like, it's not panic stations yet, but it's getting, if we just put it off and we just don't bother talking about it and don't bother trying to survive, sooner or later it comes to that time where our descendants and all the people who come after us are dealing with these problems, and they're like, but if they knew back then, why didn't they start doing something about it? You know what I mean? And it sounds so greedy, right? Like wanting to live hundreds or thousands of years. It sounds so greedy. But it's not. Or like I'm ungrateful for the life that I've got and just make the most of it, YOLO and all of that stuff. That's fine. If you want to live by that philosophy, that's fine. But me personally, I'm so grateful for the time that I got to spend here on Earth. I'm so grateful, and I loved it. The good, the bad, the funny, the love, the family, everything about it that led up to this point. I loved it so much that I wanted to continue. I wanted to preserve it and wanted to permanently increase that because I love it so much and I'm so grateful for it. But now we are getting into some deep stuff. Like, what do you mean machines fighting wars for humans? And I'm like, what if humans are fighting, but from remote locations, but with machines? They're fighting with, they're machines that are dying and being destroyed. Well, they're not really dying. They weren't really conscious to begin with. Like, to think of how many lives are saved. I mean, it's like, but dude, that technology sounds so far off. And I'm like, it's 2025, it's not that far off. There's already drones and things that can be controlled with your mind, and you can fly it around with your mind and things like that. The technology is, and that's the information that's led to the public. I can only imagine what's been researched in private and in secrets and things like that. How far that technology has come. But it is indeed possible, and it can save lives. do I like sci-fi? Am I a sci-fi fanatic? And funny thing is, when I was younger, I wasn't really. I was more into medieval stuff, like medieval fantasy and those sorts of like scenarios and that sort of vibe. But as I've gotten older, I have gained an appreciation for sci-fi because sci-fi looks towards the future and just even if it's all sounds like nonsense, like it's someone's vision of the future, and it, there are a couple of ideas there that you can take inspiration from. Like, okay, for example, watching sci-fi and futuristic things led me into thinking about nano drones or nano-sized robots. And it's like, what? And I'm like, nano-sized robots. And it's like nano-sized robots. Yes, nanotechnology. That we've moved into that there now. Because I had an idea about that. And I don't know if others have had this idea before, but I've never heard of anything like what I'm about to say in any movie or news or documentary or whatever. But what if you have, for these new cybernetic beings that are going to emerge, people who are half synthetic, half biological, just those sorts of beings, what if you have like nano medical drones? And it's like, what do you mean? This could even serve for humans as well, nano medical drones. And it's like, what? And I'm like, just bear with me as we get further into this. And it's like, no, what? Nano medical drones, yes. Medical drones in the atmosphere. Like you launch trillions and trillions of them into the atmosphere that aren't really dangerous to breathe in and out. In fact, maybe even people breathing in and out, like they clean your lungs while they're in that process. But medical nano drones. Now let's say these drones have like a carrying capacity of like a few atoms of something or whatever. Like they have a carrying capacity and they fly around. But they're all part of this network. This very similar network. That when it senses that a person's in distress or a being is in distress or they hurt, those things fly in and they just sort of heal them up. And it's like, what the hell am I talking about? What do you mean they fly in and they heal the person up? Like little nano drones that have things inside them or atoms of things inside them, like things that our bones are made of and things that skin is made of and tissue and ligament and those sorts of things. And when on the network, network connecting everybody, now when a person gets hurt or it's detected and whatever, those things fly in and they automatically begin healing the wound. They get there quicker than any paramedic can get there, any ambulance. You don't have to wait 45 minutes when a person can get medical treatment within seconds or minutes. Like they can get proper medical treatment from wherever they are. And it's like that technology sounds impossible, that nanotechnology, that it just flies in and heals a person on the spot. And I'm like, imagine that. Like a person gets like half their face torn off or whatever, and those things respond and they start reconstructing the person's face, and based on all the information it knows about the customer, but because it senses the customer is in distress. But yeah, I would imagine the initial phases take a lot longer than just a few seconds. Like it will take hours to heal a person, or days, or whatever. But it's more, as the technology progresses, I would imagine the response times get a lot quicker. It's what used to take hours starts to take minutes, and then it starts to take seconds. It's almost like Formula One, the pit stops. They used to be like 12 seconds back in the day. Now they're like 2 seconds, 3 seconds.